That's cool. Coles.
Yeah.
Google can be cruel. When I search J. Coles on Google, the little section called "People Also Search For,"
Yeah.
the first thing that's said is J. Cole's spouse.
Oh.
When you search for Kenny Olson on Google,
Yeah.
you get "Who is the Rookie" on Garage Logic. When you search Norm Coleman on Google,
story. Yeah.
people also search for, is Norm Coleman still alive?
Wow.
Which is just cruel. That is not nice.
You know what in the Google, Kenny would wish I were dead. Is J. Cole's dead? We're hoping. Trust me on that one. Yeah, it's a little bit different. And our guest, we're so lucky to have him, is Senator Norm Coleman. Also, former mayor of Salt Lake's where I used to live. Former mayor of St. Paul. My apologies. And part of the reason, Kenny, I told you I wanted to talk. I had a conversation with Norm a while ago about his cancer diagnosis and overcoming it, beating it. And I don't want to give away too much of the story until we let Norm tell it. So, Norm, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays and all that good stuff. And as you said to me, you're happy that how are you doing? You tell people, how am I doing? I'm vertical.
Vertical.
Well, take us back, because I remember when you were diagnosed with cancer, and I was guessing 10, 11, 12 years ago, somewhere in there, and you said about a decade. What was the original diagnosis? Because later you were pretty much told this was the end and you weren't going to live much longer, and here you are 10 years later. What was the first diagnosis?
Well, first, Jay, it's great to be with you. Kenny, great to be with you. And it's this Thanksgiving time of year. I'm somebody that gives thanks, and I mean this sincerely, each and every day that I wake up, and I am thankful, God, for giving me this day, and then move on from there. And so, I go back September 2015. For a couple of weeks, I have like a scratch in my throat, a little dry, but 1 week, don't do anything. 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. And I finally go to my doctor. And I say, can you tell me kind of what this little kind of thing in my throat is? And she looks and says, hey, listen, I think you got to go get this checked out. I go get it checked out. And I come back and it's a cancer in my tonsil area.
Wow.
That's it originally.
Okay.
And great doctor, Dr. Chasm, fabulous doc. And she says, let's have Mayo check this out. So I go down to Mayo, and they say, yeah, you have cancer in your tonsil, but it has now also traveled to the lymph nodes in your neck.
Okay.
So that's what they call stage 4. It's gone from primary to secondary. But the good news is it's a long story here, Jay.
It's okay.
The good news is, my doctor, Dr. Mott, comes into me when he kind of checks. He says, he calls me, Senator, if you're going to have cancer, this is the kind to have. He said, because 90-some% of times we can cure this. It's not unusual. Throat cancer in men is caused by a virus. It happens. But they had a program at Mayo that it was chemo, radiation, and surgery. And they were actually doing a new protocol that they put me on where they were, because this is so curable, it was kind of a less the dosage of radiation and less the dosage of chemo with the surgery, and go from there. And instead of, by the way, doing the radiation on both sides of your throat, which, by the way, causes you to lose saliva, which means you always have to do something to keep your throat moist, they did it on one side. Fabulous. And I have the chemo, I do the surgery, do the radiation, do the chemo, and life is what it is. And I move on. And about a year, maybe a year and a half later, all of a sudden, it has come back. Okay. But it has come back in my lungs.
Wow.
So docs say, wait, 95%. I've always been in the top 10% of whatever I do. So I'm in the top 10% here. There we go. I didn't want to be in this top 10%. So okay, but by the way, it is throat cancer.
Right.
Okay, in the lungs. So it's not lung cancer. So what happens is when cancer travels from one portion of your body and metastasizes into another portion, it's still the same original squamous cell cancer that is susceptible, they say, to treatment and to radiation.
Okay.
So then I undergo another round of treatment and radiation. And in fact, after the radiation, the first round, excuse me, the chemo, the doc says, we're going to do radiation just to kill it. We think we just want to kill this thing for good. Hallelujah. I'm all of it. And a little extra dose of radiation, I'll handle that. That's a gift. 10 years down the road, you have to deal with the impact of it. So, but right then I can handle it. And so go on my merry way. And I'm trying to remember time frames here, but let's say a year or two later, it comes back again in the same place.
Third time.
Third time's not a charm.
No.
So now we're going to do another kind of chemo, another radiation, and they say, something, let's cut out the lung, the area where it has come back. And perhaps if it hasn't spread further than that, we'll see what happens here. So I go through another round, chemo, radiation. You can only do so much radiation, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There are limitations. And they cut out a what they call lower lobectomy. They cut out. So I don't know. And my doc said, by the way, unless you're an Olympic athlete, it's not going to impact, your ability to swim and sports and do some other things. So you'll be able to handle this. And by the way, surgery at Mayo is just stunning. They literally coat through the rib. I mean, it's not like opening up your chest. I mean, right through there's like a little incision. I was up practicing my putting like the day after the surgery.
Oh, wow.
Because the doc told me to move. You got to be moving.
Right.
So I'm moving. But that's the nature of, by the way, the beauty of Mayo. And I'm the huge fan. We are blessed in Minnesota to have the Mayo Clinic and my magnificent team of doctors there. Dr. Price, by the way, my doctors were Dr. Price is my doctor for the chemo. Dr. Price, her husband, was the surgeon. And so I had a husband and wife's team, good St. Paul people, by the way, wonderful folks. Then they really took great.
So sorry to interrupt you, but as much of as scary as all time, you have comes back 3 times. That's scary. And it's tough what you're going through. At this point, you're still feeling pretty good about it, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, listen, and going down and doing chemo, trips to Mayo. In fact, one of the things that I did is I had and the radiation. I had friends drive me. I had people schedule. So Tim Polenic, he drove me one time. Some of my staff members drove me, and it gave me a chance to reconnect with a lot of people. So in spite of I'm going down for chemo. I'm going down and by the way, every 3 months I'm doing what they call a PET scan, the kind of scanning to see what's happening. But there are a lot of, to the audience, there are a lot of blessings in going through, things like this. And I had the blessing of reconnecting with, former staffers, Pam Wheelock, who was my director in City of St. Paul, did the wild deal. She was in economic development, my chief of staff. I mean, these are like great people. I was able to reconnect with folks over the last 20 years that I worked with as mayor of St. Paul, as United States senator, relatives and others. It was really, it was challenging just in terms, I got to drive down to Mayo on a regular basis for 6 weeks to do chemo, but and I got to deal with the impact, of chemo. My son Jake gets married, and Dad's bald. He's walking down the aisle, and he's got
You've never had a hair problem. You trust me.
And I have never. God has blessed me. I have never had a hair problem. Okay,
lucky
I still
SOB.
don't. 70-some years
SOB.
old, but I was like a cue ball there. Whatever. There you go. Jay is flashing his shiny.
They can see on the camera.
Forehead. In any case,
pretty, sorry.
So now we kind of rode down the road. Okay, I'm a half lung less. I've gone through multiple rounds of chemo radiation, but I'm still working. I don't know if I missed many days of work. I mean, I would go and do the Mayo, the chemo stuff in the morning, but I'd go to work in the afternoon. And they also then put me on immunotherapy, which was once, and I got to remember the time period, maybe every couple weeks, 3 weeks.
Wow.
But I could do immunotherapy when I was in Washington because I'm still working in D.C. 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I have a place in Naples in the winter. We go down there. I could do it there. I could do it in Minneapolis if I was St. Paul if I was there, or I'd go down to Mayo. So I'm on this immunotherapy program. And it's interesting because literally I got put on it maybe a week or two after they authorized it for the use for my kind of cancer. So this is all kind of new stuff
Oh, wow.
that's happening here.
So you got
Right? It
lucky.
wasn't the Keytruda was not available
Yeah.
for my my throat cancer, squamous cell, HPV plus whatever kind of cancer until maybe a week or two before they put me on it. And they usually put it on it to kill the tumor. In my case, it was, we're going to try something different, almost prophylactic, because now they think we've got it out, we've cut it out, we've done the chemoradiation, let's put it on and see what happens.
Okay.
And I'm on it for a year, I'm on it for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, I go back and I'm getting these PET scans every 3 months. And by the way, for those of you folks who've gone through the cancer program and they go through the PET scan where they kind of scan your body and to see if there's any activity there. The docs come in. If they come in the room with a furrow on their brow, you're screwed.
Yep. I've been there with family. Yeah.
The long face. Yep.
Right. If there's any, and my docs would come in, literally, they'd open the door with a smile, typical. Oh, you okay? And I know, okay. But this time they came in with the furrow of brow, and they had seen it come back again in the exact same place where they had been twice before, where they had cut out, where the lung had been removed. Then we had a serious conversation. Which my docs literally said, we think we should do palliative. Now, what that means is we can't do anything more for you.
Wow.
We can make you comfortable.
Oh,
You might, you could go up to the lake.
That's what you told me.
And because we don't think it keeps coming back, and we could do another round of chemoradiation, but we don't think it hasn't worked. All these times it keeps coming back. And my wife says, I grew up in Brooklyn. We learned the alphabet is F and A, F and B, F and C. I said, whatever. My wife says, okay, we want another option. Give us plan B.
And I mean, essentially what you said to me on the phone, Norm, was you said, Jay, I was told go to the cabin and get ready to die, essentially.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, that's what, yeah. They said we can't do anything more. And, it's not worth doing more chemo, more radiation, putting your body through that. You've already kind of had your limit of radiation. And so that was a Monday, by the way, and timing is important here. They said, well, let's do a biopsy. And because we're doing some things in gene therapy that maybe will allow us to figure out the DNA of your cancer, and maybe we can do something targeted to that. We're just shot in the dark.
interesting.
Right? Okay, I'm into Plan B.
Yeah.
So this is Monday. We're going to start the now round. We said we're doing chemo and radiation. We're coming back. We're not checking. We're not going up to the lake. We're not doing palliative. We're going to go back, even whatever it is. We're going to fight this thing. And we were supposed to start. That was Monday. A week from Wednesday would be when we were going to start the chemo radiation. But they said on Friday, come in on Friday, we'll do a biopsy. We'll figure out, see what the DNA is before we start that last round of chemo radiation. Monday is Yom Kippur. Okay, Yom Kippur in the Jewish faith is the holiest day of the year. It is at a period starting 10 days before that is the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. We believe over that period of time you're supposed to pray, and we believe God writes your name in the book of life on that Monday, on that day, Yom Kippur. So you fast. I'm not the best Jew in the world. It's like, Catholics who go to, church on Christmas and Easter or whatever.
Well, Pat Royce calls them. Cheesters. Cheesters. Christmas and Easter.
They say, oh, God, they keep playing the same music again and again. Right. In any case, on that day, though, I do fast. And that day, I turn off my electronics. And that day, I, say my prayers and reflect and pray to God to write my name in the book of life and to pray for a lot of things in that day. I missed maybe 5 calls from Mayo that day. Okay. Now, by the way, my wife is a very serious Catholic. She says she's practicing. She sure practices a lot, I have to tell you.
They need practice. Yeah.
It doesn't miss a day of obligation, whatever. She had started her novena a while ago, so she's doing novenas. I'm praying on Yom Kippur. I missed the calls from Mayo, 5 calls. The very next morning, 8 o'clock, I call Mayo back right away. They call me, Senator, we have to tell you that what you have this time is not squamous cell cancer in that space. We don't know what it is. 2 days later, I get it. Mayo, no, what is it? It's I think a 2 in a million, what's the word? A benign growth, right? Not cancer. The 2 in a million people have this.
Oh,
Okay?
hallelujah.
In the exact same place where the cancer had always been,
Yeah.
in the exact same place it had come back before. And I always tell people, David Ben-Gurion was the first prime minister of Israel. He said, anybody who doesn't believe in miracles is not a realist. If Mayo says in the convention you're going to die on a week before, and then come back the day after you've been praying, to the good Lord, write your name in the book of life, and your wife doing a novenas, and then you find out you've got a 2 in a million, benign, non-cancerous growth this time.
It's an incredible story. That's an incredible story.
And it's real. This is exactly how it happened. I go in and see my docs. We were doing the immunotherapy, and I've still been on that. And I literally had a conversation with my docs after that saying, you thought I was going to die? And they said, yeah. And by the way, with immunotherapy, they were saying, we've seen it maybe shrink cancer in 25% of the time, but for you, apparently it's gone. Now, since that time, that was over maybe 4 years. That was a number of years ago. I have a for a while I did the PET scans every 3 months, and now I do a blood scan because they said the last time I was there, they said, you don't have to come back. We like to do long-term studies.
Nice.
We'd like you to come back. And so I'm now part of a long-term study. I get a blood test every 3 months to see if it's a new thing, to see if there's tumor DNA in my blood. And that test has come back consistently negative.
Nice.
And so here I am. It's now been 10 years, I think 5 years since the death sentence, and lots of prayers and good fortune, and I'm here.
That's
and so
truly,
to all those listeners, out there is hope. Mayo does wonderful things. God does wonderful things. But I consider myself a walking miracle, and I'm thankful every day for it.
It's an incredible story. What's it like? I don't know, Kenny, any of us have sat around and thought, at some point, you wonder what it'd be like if somebody told me I had a month to live, 3 months to live. You know what I mean? When you're told that at that moment, this is it, go to the cabin, get ready to basically die. How do you process that whole thing? What goes through your mind? Can you shut your mind off? I can't even imagine what that's like, Senator.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, first, obviously, this in that week from the time I had that conversation till the time I found out that it's. I mean, every day I thought this is okay. So what are you going to do? And there's some practical stuff you think about: kids, family. Does my wife know? Everything lined up for her, kind of things. A lot of reflection. I don't know. If anything, this experience has given me and magnified in a way that it's hard to express verbally, but just this deep appreciation for all the gifts that I've had, for all the joys that I've had, for all that I've been able to do. I've had a blessed life. I've 35 years of public service, United States Senator, this mayor of St. Paul, father, grandfather. Married 45 years. God has been so good to me and my family. So at least for me, I went through a period of a lot of reflection of appreciation, saying, "Gosh, it was not I'm going to mope," and at least that what I wasn't in that place. I don't know why. I'm just telling you, what went through my head. It wasn't woe is me. It was wow. If this is do I have any regrets? Do I have any complaints? Look what a blessing I've had all these my whole life. And I could give you, Jay and Ken, I could give you a million stories where literally a door shut and a window to open, on the political side, things that if it weren't, I mean, there's no way I should have been in that place. There's no way that should have happened.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it just happened. So I've led a life where I have been blessed by things that I couldn't explain, but the right thing happened at that time that would have otherwise have, not have given me the gift that I received. And so for me, that period of 7 days of thinking these are time is short, a period of great reflection, but of great gratitude.
Were you afraid to die?
That's a great question. No, because I don't think I wasn't fearful. I don't. It's hard to explain. Your other listeners have been through this. I'd love to kind of hear what they have to say. But it wasn't an, oh, woe is me. This is so terrible. What am I going to do? I have to tell you, let me step back. When I first found out I had cancer, that was my reaction. Okay. I was afraid to die. Going back 2015, when I came in and told my wife when I found out I had cancer, I thought at that point it was woe is me. I'm going to die. I haven't taken care of my family. I haven't done the things that I need to do to set them up so that they're going to. That was 2015, but in 2021, 22, okay, it wasn't that. It was, gosh, I'm really pretty. I've been blessed. Thank you, God, for all the blessings. Take care of, it was more that than anything else, which is interesting. I hadn't thought about that, Kenny, but when I first found out, it was, woe is me. I'm going to die. I was in tears.
So,
and 10 years later, no, not at all.
I'll take it further then. Are you ready to die now?
First of all, I don't want to die.
No. But are you mentally
Right.
in the right place where, because I've had heart issues, and ever since then, I'm ready to die. And every day I wake up, I always say, it's fun to wake up. I love waking up alive. Mm-hmm. But I'm if it's time, I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's when I said grateful. And I'm very serious. I really am grateful. I wake up, I say a prayer every morning. Thank you, God. Thanks for the blessing.
Yeah,
that I
it's
have
fun
today.
to wake up alive. Yeah.
Wait, thank you. Well, please watch over my family, watch over my wife, watch over my kids, and now it's watch over my grandkids. Give me wisdom, Lord. Help me to be a better servant, a better husband, a better father, a better brother, a better leader. And so every day I start every day with gratitude. And so, whatever happens. But I this whole process has kind of brought me to a point of greater gratitude rather than greater, fear or greater anger or greater whatever. I'm past the anger and denial stage. That was a long time ago.
I can relate. Kenny can relate because I had a heart attack in June of 2024. Just what is that?
Yeah.
A little over a year ago, I had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I smoked 2 cigarettes on the way to the hospital, not even knowing I was having a heart attack.
I thought I was having a panic attack when I was driving myself to the hospital.
I didn't know what the hell it was. I was like, that was all I knew was it hurt. And I was driving with one hand on the wheel, smoking a cigarette, going, I hope this pain would go away. Didn't work so fast, guys.
Jay, do you have stents?
I have 4 stents, and I was going to share that story with you guys.
Oh, I only have 3. Dang.
I got 4. Well, so, because I can relate. The reason I wanted to ask him, were you afraid to die? And your follow-up is great. Are you ready to die? Because once it started to get a little intense with my heart attack, I could tell the doctors were getting nervous, Norm.
Yeah, that's...
When they couldn't fly me out, they needed to life flight me, and there was a thunderstorm coming, and they went from smiling, we got it under control, we're going to get you to Duluth, because I live an hour and a half north now in the woods. They all of a sudden they got very, very nervous. We got to get you in an ambulance. We got to get you code 3, lights and sirens. And I was like, wonder if I could die between now and then. This is more serious than I thought.
Yeah.
And I had to have this. I was a little fearful of dying in that moment, but now not so much. Partly because, Kenny, you'll relate to this. I wake up in the middle of my heart surgery. I woke up.
Yeah.
The anesthesia keeps you just below, doesn't knock you all the way out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I woke up on the operating table and I just said, guys, I'm in such incredible pain. Something is wrong. Like, I shouldn't be waking up in the middle of my heart surgery. Right. And they're like, oh, Jay, you're doing great. Just, keep breathing, keep breathing. I was like, well, I intend to keep breathing. Thanks for the heads up. And turns out, doctor sees me in the recovery room. He says, you had a rough day. This surgery should have, for 4 stents, should have taken an hour and a half, took 3 hours.
Oh,
The stent was so low in my heart, guys, that they were having trouble getting it in there. So what they did was, he was talking in medical terms, but as an old reporter, I was kind of deciphering what was like one of Norm's press conferences. What's he really saying? Kidding, of course. But so he said, yeah. I said, so it sounds like to me, if I'm hearing you correctly, you shut off one of my main arteries to get that last stent in. He goes, that's exactly what we did. We had to shut off one of your main arteries.
Wow.
I said, so you induced a heart attack on the table. And that's when I woke up. So
Wow.
I woke up when they were inducing the heart attack. And it brings me full circle to what Norm has said, what you have said. I'm so calm now, Norm, that almost literally nothing bothers me anymore. And if there is a crisis in front of me, I'm not thinking about the worst anymore. I'm thinking, oh, we're going to get through this. It'll be all right. I don't have the same level of concern. Does that make any sense?
yeah, it mellows you out.
Mellows you right out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if that's the same for you, Norm, or not, but I'm much calmer.
Yeah, no.
And I'm very appreciative of everything I got in front of me. I'm so thankful for everything that's in front of me that hardly anything makes me angry at all. I'm appreciative. I'm more thankful for whatever time I get with my kids or interviews like this. It just brings you to a whole nother level of almost relaxation. And I'm okay with dying now. Whereas before I was a little afraid of it. Now, not that I was told to go to the cabin and die like you, but it was, touch and go a little bit. And all of a sudden, I'm a different person. Do you consider yourself a different person now, Senator?
No. I compared where I was when I first got a diagnosis, and the anger and the fear,
Right.
the anxiety, fear was probably the best word to describe.
Yep.
And then, where I am now, which was just totally different. And where I was, Kenny, that week of, when they say you're going to die, and all of a sudden they say you're not going to die.
Yeah.
And it's the world. But that week was not one. It was not one spent in tears. It was not one, sackcloth and ashes. It was one spent in reflection of joy and gratitude. And, do I have things kind of figured out? There's a practical side that you have to go through, start getting things in order, but always, just a whole different approach to death, not to life, a whole different approach to death.
100%. 100%.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. And that's
Do you
why
have
I want
time
to do it around
for
the holiday season too.
Norm, do you have time
Well,
for
Thanksgiving, yeah.
one quick story? All this personal stuff I know from you comes from Joe and Jennifer Souchere. Opposite sides of the political aisle. They live in the same house, and they've told me wonderful stories about you. But I saw something when I was researching you from Minnesota Public Radio, and like Joe would say, reporting is not what it used to be. I want to hear the story behind this. It says, last month, Coleman said a life jacket saved him from drowning when another fishing boat rammed his on a northern Minnesota lake, forcing him to jump overboard. What in the world? I want to know more.
Okay, so again, we keep coming back to faith here. Okay,
Yeah.
does God's hand, is that involved? So listen to this one. It's the early part of the season. Going out on the lake. It's 8 a.m. It's a little chilly because it's early. It must have been shortly after, Memorial Day. Shortly after fishing opener.
Yeah.
And so I'm out and I got my jacket on because it's cold. There's Lake Ada, northern Minnesota, about 170 miles north of Twin Cities. My wife's family has been there literally her whole life. We've been going up. We've married 45 years, but I've been going up there, 40 something, 45 years. And so I'm out on the lake and it's empty. And I get into my little, at that point, Alumacraft 16-footer, right? And I have a little fish finder in the back, and I have a little trolling motor in the front and a little fish finder up there. Never use, ever use. Okay. I get in the back of my boat, and I think I maybe got a 50 horsepower or something, Yamaha, something in the back. I can move it. But I'm sitting in the back, and I go to put my fish finder on, and it's not working. So, so I head out to the lake, get to the middle of the lake. It's empty. And because my fish finder isn't working, I have to go up to the bow, up to the front, where I have a fish finder, right? And I'm just fishing off the front of the boat. All of a sudden, again, quiet, early morning, right before 8 a.m., around, I hear an engine sound, okay? And I see a boat probably, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 feet. I'm looking right at it. It's coming right at me. I see a guy standing in his boat, standing up, and he's got two kids on his side. He was obviously kind of undoing a fishing line. His boat is coming at me, okay? Now, if I was coming right to the side, right?
Yeah.
If I was in the back of and as it's coming, I'm watching it come, watching it.
Yeah.
And at first I yell, and he looks, it doesn't matter. It hits the side. As it hits, this is like Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. Literally, as his boat hits my side, I jump over towards, like right where it was coming from, a little over to the side. Hits my boat, boom, goes over, boom. And I pop in the water. I had on one of those life jackets that inflate if they hit the water, right?
Yeah.
And so I hadn't checked that thing for years. I've had that. Thank God. I got boots on, a winter jacket. It pops up. I get my head in the water, and the first thing I say is, "What the?" And I realize, by the way, then I see two kids. I see kids in the water. So I swim over. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Kids got it. And I help him, we get the kids in the boat, the guy. Now here's the story. I watched it come, and I watched it, boom, boom, boom. And as it hit my boat, I dove over. Right?
Wow.
If I had been in the back of the boat, if my fish finder had been working, I'm in the back of the boat, right? I can't jump to my right because he's coming in that direction. I can't jump to my left because he hits the boat and pushes it.
Yeah.
I can't go over the back because I got the engine there. I'm dead.
Yeah.
If my fish finder is working that day, I'm dead.
Wow.
And yet, for whatever reason, never before my fish finder didn't work. God put me in the front of the boat. First of all, 1 in a million to get hit by in the middle of a 1,000-acre lake to be hit by another boat. But on the other hand, 1 in a million to say if that fish finder is working and I'm sitting where I normally sit, I'm a dead man.
You're dead.
Okay. So,
I didn't know.
So you tell me, do I believe? Are you asking?
Wow.
Have I had in my life? And by the way, the guy was the nicest guy. He was an Army chaplain at Arlington Cemetery.
Oh, you swore in front of him.
His parents have a place up there. It was the first day on the lake. There was no one on the lake. He was just untying line for his kids. It was purely whatever. But again, literally. If I was where I would normally have been, there's no way that I would have. I would have been crushed. My engine. Afterwards, I looked at it. Other boats came out at that point, got me out of the water. They towed my boat back, but that whole back of my boat where I was sitting, I was crushed, and I would have had no way. I had no exit anywhere else other than sitting in the front of the bow, on a raised chair, being able to catapult myself off the boat as he hit my boat.
So
praise God.
I'd heard the story, but not all that detail about how close you came to death, literally. So my only question is, when the other boats arrived, did they realize who it was? And were you thankful they were all Republicans in the other boats? If it had been Democrats, he might not have got out of the water.
Democrats, they would have left me in the water. Luckily, it's northern Minnesota. There are Republicans up there, so they pulled me out.
That's what I'm saying. You were up in the red. You were up in the red counties. Yeah, Democrats would have said, "Oh, it's Coleman?
This
him
was
Come
northern
on.
Minnesota. I was fine. I tell you, my northern Minnesota during the first Trump election,
Yeah.
we're driving around and there was Trump, in that area,
Yeah,
that part of the
signs
state.
everywhere.
And
Yep.
when my wife and I drive, and all of a sudden we saw a Hillary sign,
Uh-oh.
like way down. And I thought, I got to take a look. So we drove all the way around, whatever. And then we come, and the sign said, "Imprison Hillary." That was the only Hillary sign.
That's hurtful. Poor thing. That's hilarious.
That's northern Minnesota for you.
You were
Yep.
on the right lake.
story.
You were on the right
True
lake at the
story.
right time. That's funny.
Well, it's been a real pleasure, Norm.
Yeah, I got one little quick funny thing that goes way back with when he was mayor, Kenny.
Yeah.
And I was full of piss and vinegar in my 30s in the investigative unit. He was an up-and-coming guy as a St. Paul mayor. And I can't remember what it was, Norm. I shared this with you on the phone. We had a good laugh about it. I don't even think you remembered it. You had a news conference. Can't remember what it was about, but I had to ask you something that I was working on as an investigative reporter at the time. So it was off topic, as we would say in a news conference, right? And you handled it fine. And I can't remember what I was pressing you about. But you come walking by me after the news conference and you shook my hand and smiled at me. You go, "You always got an angle, don't you, Jay? You
Yeah.
always got an angle. You're always working an angle."
Yeah. Always, Norm.
Always.
Always.
And by the way, Jay, you always had an angle. You
I always
always
had an
had
angle. And you were right. I couldn't argue. I just laughed and went, "Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Mayor."
Yeah.
Sorry
It
about
affects
that.
his friends too, Norm. Yeah. It's all of us.
It was nothing personal, just doing my job. But thanks so much. I wish we had a little more time with you because I did want to talk about how you brought the Wild and the XL Energy Center, which is now Hinckley Grand Casino Center. What do we call it now?
Hey, by the way, they're winning now. Okay, let's speak kindly of the Wild. They're winning now.
And
Okay?
then
How about that
This is
goalie?
being-
No, the goalie's been on his head.
Yeah.
But just
the wall of St. Paul. So.
But I did a story with you back for television when I think I broke the story that they were looking at expanding it. That's what it was. And I talked to you and I talked to Governor Carlson about what I've got old footage of you, what it took to get that arena and how close it came to not happening. And if that had not happened, Senator, and if this expansion doesn't happen, that cannot be good for St. Paul. Downtown's already struggling. How important was that project, and how important is this next project?
They are really important. They're important for the vitality of the city. That project was about a lot of things. By the way, it was also about hope in St. Paul. In fact, we gone through some tough times to go back to when I first got elected mayor. But more than that, it's kind of really revitalized a downtown, revitalized an area that was dying. Unfortunately, the city has not done well in the past number of years. By the way, I'm very excited about the new mayor. I'll say it publicly. She's not my party, whatever, but I am hopeful for her. I think she understands the importance of bringing economic development, growth. People used to ask Jay, "Mayor, what are you doing for kids today?" I'd say the best thing I do for a kid today is make sure mom and dad has an opportunity for a job. That means it's got to be safe. Okay. It's got to be affordable. Mm-hmm. It's got to have a government that works with you, not against you. And we did those things, but the XL was kind of the center of that. It was like the sun and everything, all the planets that go around it. And I think it still is. And so I hope they figure out a way to kind of keep it going. It's now 25 years old. I got to drop the puck opening night 25 years ago. Yeah. In October. So 25 years old, it's still a magnificent arena. It's critically important to the lifeblood of the capital city. And I wish the new mayor all my best for her success. Yep. And hopefully that will be a part of her success. But I'm real optimistic. I'm real hopeful. And I think better days for St. Paul are yet to come. Kenny, give my best to Sush, please.
Yeah, I will. I will. Oh, I'm supposed to say hi. Yeah.
Okay, well, say hi, Rick. Tell him I really deeply appreciate all the wisdom that he brings to the table.
Yeah.
On so many important issues.
Don't puff
gentlemen, thank you.
Don't puff them up too much. And I'm so lucky, Kenny. My favorite part of this is we got three old guys here who can all say they stared death in the face and won.
Yeah. It's fun being alive, isn't it? It's
fun
great.
being alive.
Hallelujah! Every day, blessing, folks.
Senator, fun.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks,
Senator.
Thank you.
Take care, gentlemen.
Yeah, take care.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Jay, let's take a quick break and come back. I have some.
Hang on. Nope. Stand by.
And record. Rolling.
All right, rolling.
Jay, that was fun.
It was great.
I've been, I talked to you about you joining this show, I think 3 years ago.
Yeah.
If not longer. And that was the first thing you said when we started spitballing and talking about guests. Yeah. and you told me that his story, and I had not heard this. I didn't know anything about it.
I knew that.
And I've been bringing this up on CRABBY for the last couple of years. I told Amy Daniels about it. I know I told John Haidt and Dawn about it. And so I've been looking forward to that last interview we just did for years.
Same here. I couldn't figure out a way to do it on TV.
Yeah, it really paid off.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
That was a lot of fun.
And, you know, how often, like I said to you earlier, how often do you get to sit down with a U.S. Senator and just talk openly about life?
Yeah.
Things other than politics of the day, and you know,
right.
And the great thing about Norm that I learned over the years, getting to know him and covering him, is when the camera was off and you could BS with him a little bit, he opened up and would talk about life and kids and this.
That's what I noticed when I've met him at the fair. You know, he'd stop by and talk to Joe for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he'd always hang out in the back room before he'd go out. And you realize he's just a normal dude. He's highly motivated.
Yeah.
But he really did care and still does care about Minnesota and St. Paul.
And you know, when you see pictures of him back in his college days, he was a long-haired hippie.
Well, wasn't he a roadie? He was a roadie for.
Roadie.
I can't remember the band, but Such talks about it all the time, like Three Dog Night or one of those 70s bands.
It was a 70s band. He was a roadie. He truly was, you know, parted down the middle, the peace sign T-shirts.
Yeah.
He was a long-haired hippie freak is what he was.
He says we learned the alphabet F and A, F and B, F and C. That is so funny. I've never heard that.
He's an interesting guy. And at 76, he's still working full-time out in D.C. as a lobbyist. And I told you this, too, when I called him the second time to reschedule. No, the first time, because we couldn't do it last week because of the weather.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second.
Yeah. But he, I mean, how many guests do you get to call and say, hey, can you join us? Here's what we'd like to talk about. Sure, Jay, let me check my schedule.
Yeah.
You know what our schedule's like, yours and mine, right?
Yeah, wide open.
Hardware store, wide open.
Yeah. I need to buy some minnows. Yeah. Got my baits dead.
Bowel movement number 2, whatever, right? We've got
you write that in 20 minutes there.
I mean, that's our deal, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of talking out loud. Well, I've got this at 9. I've got this congressional meeting, and then okay, at 11 I've got the White House at 11. I'm thinking, I even interrupted him on the phone. I go, you might be the only person I will call in my life and say, hey, can you do something next week? And their response is, well, I got something at the White House.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I've looked through my address and my contacts before, and I see some of these names in my contacts, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing with this person's phone number?
Yes.
I mean, this is a cherished private number. Why do I have it?
Kenny, I've done it all my life, and I don't understand why I have any of them. I have 3 former governors. I've got former senators, current senators, federal source. And I'm like you. I'm like, why in the world do they want to talk to this goofball from Racine, son of a steelworker who doesn't have a brain? But it's crazy because they're all interesting people. But for the most part, once you get to know them away from what they do, like you just said, they're about as regular as they come.
Yeah.
And I've always had a fun time with Senator Coleman, more off camera than on, because on camera we always had to be serious and this, that, and the other. And he was the one who offered up, Kenny, when I interviewed him about something. It might have been the Wild going for the expansion, and it was the first time I heard him say, I thought he'd had the cancer diagnosis and just beat it through radiation. I didn't know he was told, go up to the cabin and die. I didn't know that. And I said, man, would you ever want to talk about that? And he, as you could see, more than willing to talk about it. So I loved it. It was a great interview.
Yeah.
Great interview.
And I right before we went on, we started at 3.
Yeah.
You said he's got 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and
I think he gave us 40, didn't he?
3:28, I'm like, God, I got to get this question in. And there's so many other things I want to ask him and I want to tell him. I wanted to tell him the way to get serviced really quick in an emergency room is because both of you and I drove ourselves in, right?
We did.
I walked in and they look up and I pointed to my heart and I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And before I knew it, I was on the table and there was a swarm. I've walked into the emergency room with blood gushing out of my arm and they say, take a seat, loser. We'll get to you in about 2 hours. But when you point to your heart and go, boy, they serve you quickly. Front of the line.
And you know what? I never thought about that, but you're 100% right, because I finished the second heater pulling into the driveway, and I walked in, and they go, "What's your deal?" And I told them my symptoms.
Yeah.
As soon as I told them my symptoms,
Yeah.
Nurse
Yeah.
Ratchet started yelling at me. "You go sit down now."
Yeah.
A wheelchair came out, and
Yeah.
I had 2 physicians and 2 nurses.
It's Jay. It's almost like they get off on it.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's
They
actually
get off on saving lives. Can you imagine that?
No, because I'm only
What a
worried
bunch of
about
weirdos.
Because I'm only worried about mine, not theirs. So
Okay.
I'm with you 100% on that. If you just go in there and point to your chest, you'll cut to the front of the line, folks.
I want you to do all of us a favor now at this point. I want you to open up the front of your pants, and I want you to look down there and tell me if you have man parts. Are you smooth down there? What happened last
Do
week?
I have to tell you?
What happened last
Apparently,
week?
I'm smooth, according to you.
You don't have a snow plow, a snow blower, or a chainsaw.
I have, you know what I have? A Briggs & Stratton snow shovel.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Is that one of those sweeper things?
It's like
Jay.
it's fantastic. It takes care of all my decks that I need. I got 2 decks that I deal with. Listen. You want me driving around with a pickup with a blade on the front of it?
Yeah, I want you to
understand
act. You have to be responsible, act like a man, and get to your job. It doesn't matter how far away you live. Get there.
Says the guy who has a studio at
It's 100 yards.
yeah,
It's 100 yards from my house, and I drive that commute every day.
Can I say something? Disingenuous ass. Okay. And I look out, Kenny, look, you heard Senator Coleman, it's all about jobs.
Yeah.
Wimpy is my guy. Wimpy comes and plows.
What's Wimpy's real name?
I don't know. I truly don't know.
That's so great about being in the country. It's Shorty. I don't know what his name is. It's Shorty.
I was at the Crowbar with a couple of buddies, and they're like, when I first moved up there, I got to get a plow guy. And they go, "Oh, Wimpy. Wimpy's your guy." And I'm like, "Okay, give me Wimpy's number." So he's in my phone as Wimpy. Wimpy the plow guy, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
And he's great. I mean, he shows up like that, and he took care of it that day, and he got those trees out of there for me. So I got, as Joe would say, I got guys.
But
Kenny, why do I got to be ambitious? Just 'cause
if
you
I
are?
was an employer, you would have been called into my office the next day. I mean, it was so sad listening to your tale of woe. Oh, it snows up to my ankles, and there's a couple of branches bent over. And I actually said, why don't you go out there and shake the snow off those branches? They'll move out of the way.
It's a lot of ambition.
Yeah.
You forget minimal effort, maximum glory, low ambition.
Yeah.
Very low ambition. So listen, I'm with you. I should do more of that, but it's not going to happen, Kenny. It's not going to happen. And now that I'm retired, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
I am planning a show where you and I discuss. You're going to have to face reality.
That's fine.
We're going to talk about self-sufficiency and what you're going to do when the S goes down.
Well,
John Haidt said, "I'm just going to go to my front step with my guitar and play until, the zombies or the ghouls or the Russians take me away." I'm a fighter myself.
well, I've got guns, so I'm good on that end. I probably just go down to the Crowbar. And
Yeah.
just sit out with my friends at the Crowbar and wait for it to
Just
happen.
sit there and-
I have no ambition. After the heart attack, I've told you guys, I told you and Norm, after the heart attack, I'm like, whatever happens, happens. End of the world, Kenny, I don't care.
Before we go, how'd you do deer hunting?
Didn't see a thing. Of course, I only did a couple of days, not even 2 full days. But the group that I was with, Kenny, they didn't hardly see anything, get anything. It was really bad. I don't know
What's
what
their
happened.
excuse? There's always a general excuse. What was the group's excuse?
Two in the beginning. So I should check with them. They might have, because ours goes over Thanksgiving. I didn't check with them over Thanksgiving. It was too warm and not enough. There was no snow.
Okay.
So they were like, with no snow and warm, the deer, the minute they know we're here, they're bedding down. They're not moving. Now I have no idea if that's
Deer hunting excuses are the best excuses.
It's always something, man.
Yeah, it's always
something.
Yeah.
With me, it's just because I was sleeping. I was
Jesus.
sleeping in the trees.
Oh, well, at least you were out there. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, but I nap hard.
Do you really?
100%. One time, Kenny, the group said, "We got to get Jay a deer." Everybody was getting a deer, and I don't think I had one yet. And they're like, "We got to get Jay a deer." So we're gonna do what do you call it? A push?
drive?
A drive. That's it. Yeah. So, all right, Jay, you go down and we're going to put you there over the other side of the hill over there, the other side of the trees, and we're going to push toward you. So it'll be like 6, 7 of us just pushing any deer towards you,
I
right?
hate that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, it made me nervous because I'm thinking, so you're going to come over the hill? And
No,
if I
they're
see
going to, a deer's going to go by you at 90 miles an hour.
That's okay. Thank you. Because I'm thinking,
I hate drives.
and then if I'm shooting at them, toward
Right.
the deer, like I didn't like the whole idea. Well, I don't know what was going on. It was kind of a warm day, and I just was a little hungover. Imagine that. And I decided to lie down.
Wait, lie down?
Yeah, because they were going to push it toward me, and I wasn't in a stand.
What? Yeah?
I was on like a little knob of a hill, if you will, almost like on the other side of a little marsh. So I just found some leaves, and I just laid back.
No, we're not friends. We're now arch enemies.
Well, one of the guys came up the trail and caught me sleeping and got me on camera.
Oh, great.
He's got photos.
Great.
Of me
I used to.
I was literally sleeping while they were driving the deer.
I had a duck hunting buddy that he's passed now, but he was old AF at the time.
Yeah.
And he'd say, I'm going for a walk. And we all knew what he was doing. He'd go find a tree in the sun.
Go
and
take a nap?
I would sneak up behind him, so I'm 5 feet behind him, and I'd fire off my shotgun into the air. God, it was so funny.
That is
so evil.
That is evil.
So
but pretty
evil.
good. Yeah, Dan Martin, my friend, he didn't fire a gun, but he took photos. And there I am, just a big blob of orange, just snoring away. Just couldn't. I was so content because.
Well, you're horrible at deer hunting, but you're pretty
Horrible.
good at your job.
Thank
so
you. Yeah.
thank you for booking, Norm. I've been looking forward to that for years.
Yeah, we'll get more like that.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up. We've got a few ideas for some upcoming guests, but nothing in concrete yet for next week. We'll see what happens.
All right, Kenny. Cool.
Thanks. Thank you, Jay. And
thank
you for listening to the Krabby Coffee Shop.
Catch you next week. I just realized I got to lose some weight.